The prolific Meg Cabot joins me now. She's the author of numerous books, including the upcoming The Quarantine Princess Diaries. Today's Velshi Band Book Club feature is Ready or Not. Meg Cabot doesn't need much of an introduction. I will say, Meg, welcome to the book club, first of all. It's good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
You know, your book covers really interesting and important themes, but as we were sort of putting this together, we were trying to decide some of the things from the book to put into the discussion, and my executive producer described me as a pearl-clutching prude for not necessarily using the same language that you use in your book. I don't think I am, but that's kind of the point, right? Like, that's the issue. The issue is that you write about things that some parents might think they don't really want to talk about it, or they don't want to use that kind of language, but you're writing because that's how kids talk.
It is, and that's one of the reasons why I wrote the book. I felt like there were a lot of kids, at least when I was growing up, and still, I think to this day, whose parents don't tell them about these kinds of things. And in many places, school is not telling them about these kinds of things, and it's a really important issue. And I felt like, you know, I'll do it, Ben. And so I did. In this book.
My executive producer is grateful to you. Let's get right into the book, into Ready or Not. And there's so many books to choose from you, but let's talk about Ready or Not. I want to start at the end without giving anything away. The book does end with a critique from Samantha's drawing teacher. Quote, "When it came time for the critique of our evening's work, Susan was pleased with my results. Very good, Sam, she said about my drawing. You're really learning. Yes, I said with some surprise. I guess I really am." Why end it there with Sam learning? I mean, the whole book is sort of a journey of Sam learning.
Yeah, and Sam is an artist, you know, an aspiring artist, and art lessons are very important to her. It's how she meets her boyfriend, David, who she has a long-term, well, for teens, a year is a long-time relationship. And she's learning to draw as well as she can, and she's in a life drawing class with David, and she's trying to learn to draw a figure as a whole. So that theme comes into the book quite a bit, like how you can't just draw parts, you have to draw the whole drawing. And that comes back into the story multiple times. So she is learning to think of things as a whole and not just as a part. And that ends up being a huge source of conflict for her later with the actually President of the United States.
What's the metaphor for that with kids in high school and thinking, whether it's about sex or all the components that become so important, that are such sources of anxiety to high school kids, about whether it's relationships or how they relate to other people or even social media? What's the metaphor of thinking about parts versus the whole?
I think in this book specifically, it's about a campaign that the president, who is her boyfriend's father, is launching to have families spend more time together. But then later, not to give anything away, but Sam does find out that the campaign is to keep teens from having access to birth control without their parents' knowledge. And she becomes upset. And it's so weird because I wrote this book 20 years ago, but it rings kind of even more true today because women are being denied access to women's health care all over the place. And this is the thing that Sam becomes enraged about. She's like, how can you expect us to be a family living together as a whole when you're separating one part of that family and treating them not as equals? And she's furious about it, and unfortunately does that on live TV, and could have caused friction with her boyfriend, but fortunately it doesn't.
But it is wildly relevant, despite the fact that the book was written so long ago. Let's talk about the character of Lucy, Sam's older sister, who talks to her about contraceptives, among other things. We find out Lucy is deciding to wait. Quote, "He wasn't the one, but you thought he was for a long time. You can't tell me you didn't. You even told me he was your first. My first love," Lucy said, "not my first, you know." Is Lucy written in as a foil?
Lucy is kind of the character who chooses to wait, and she chose to wait because she felt that the guy she was with wasn't the right guy and it wasn't the right time. Whereas Sam, as we find out later in the book, although none of this is on the page, kind of decides that this is the right guy and it is the right time for her, and she makes all of the right choices that she should with the help of her older sister, who she's read a lot and has a lot of kind of knowledgeable friends who help Sam out in that department so that she will be able to consent safely and follow through with her actions without getting hurt, which is really important. It's important that people have a Lucy in their life, but Lucy's choices are her own. Sure. And that's what it's so important, is that everybody has a choice.
So
At least they did.
If the point is the point that a high schooler reads this book and is given at least somebody's roadmap about how to make the decision about when and how and all the things that get involved in having sex.
Absolutely. And I worked with teens for a really long time. I actually worked at NYU for 10 years. And I couldn't even tell you how many kids ended up coming to that school who were incredibly book smart, but they didn't know anything about this kind of stuff because they'd never been taught it in school. Their parents had been too uncomfortable to talk to them about it. So that's where I started getting the idea, oh my gosh, this is something that maybe, if it comes out in a fun book about a girl who's dating the president's son, but we throw in, I always call it like putting a little spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down. This one has a lot of sugar and, there's a little medicine with it. Just to tell them it's okay to talk about these things. And it's especially important to talk about it with your prospective partner so that nobody's surprised, because these abstinence programs, which is what they're really pushing, especially in Florida where I live, they don't prepare kids for the eventuality that they might end up being in a situation where they're going to need the little brown paper bag that Lucy ends up giving her sister.
So, on one hand, one might say an important roadmap for girls or college age, high school age students to sort of understand how to navigate these things if they're not learning it from their parents or perhaps their school or their church or wherever they're getting it. On the other hand, critics of your book have said it's a roadmap. It's a way to teach kids how to have premarital sex at a high school age.
Well, safely, yeah. And the problem with that critique is that a very large percentage of kids who are getting these abstinence education, they're going ahead and having sex, and they're not doing it with protection. And my goal, I don't have kids, but I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and I also really am looking forward to a future where I can have really great doctors and lawyers and people who aren't affected as teenagers because of a dumb mistake that they made because they were never given the information that they needed. So that's something that I thought, well, if I can do this, I'm going to do it. So I did, and I don't have any regrets. I regret the Brittany Murphy and Britney Spears remarks that I made in the book, which were the characters' opinions of those people. But that's it. The rest, I'm like, yeah, I think it still stands up today because we are so, as women, still being attacked for our healthcare choices, and it's insane.
Meg Cabot is the author of numerous books, including the upcoming The Quarantine Princess Diaries and today's Velshi Band Book Club feature, Ready or Not. There's a lot more where that came from. I'm going to continue this conversation with Meg Cabot. You'll be able to stream the extended cut of this discussion later this week exclusively on Peacock.